Hallo und herzlich willkommen hier aus der SWT-Arena. Wir befinden uns aktuell in der ganz heißen Phase der Preseason und am Freitag steht schon unser erstes offizielles Saisonspiel an. Es ist noch kein offizielles Saisonspiel in der Pro A, aber es ist ein ganz besonderes Spiel und zwar unsere Rückkehr in den BBL-Pokal gegen die Skyliners aus Frankfurt. Das Spiel findet am Freitag hier in der SWT-Arena statt um 20 Uhr. Tickets findet ihr dafür auch noch in unserem Online-Ticket-Shop. In der Geschäftsstelle kriegt ihr die und auch im Kartenvorverkauf Trier in der Tuchfabrik. Grund genug, um so kurz vorm Pokalspiel und am Ende der Preseason uns nochmal hier zusammenzusetzen mit unserem President of Basketball Operations, Don Beck. Don, thanks for your time. So, before we talk about the actual preseason and the cup game coming up next Friday, let's talk about one last question about the last season I have. So let's talk about your favorite and your worst game in the last season.
Okay, so the worst game is probably an obvious answer, but my favorite game last year was a late season game. We played Karlsruhe on the road, and we were actually getting beaten pretty badly. They had added another foreign player at that time. They were extremely athletic. And we were down. But from a coaching standpoint, what I really liked about that game was how well we came back in the end. I think we had a tremendous fourth quarter. It was the first time we really played with Jordan and Marcus together before Marcus got injured again. So that comeback for me was just spectacular. And I think it set the tone for the next 4 or 5 games after that game because of how well we played. As a coach, you have a toolbox. You have things you can use on offense and things you can use on defense when something's not working. And in that game, defensively and offensively, I know offensively Jacques used every tool in his box, and defensively I used every tool in my box. And I just thought that was the most outstanding game for me as a coach. The one I enjoyed the most. The obvious answer is the Frankfurt games at the end of the year. I know exactly the Friday game. I think the fourth game of the playoffs in Frankfurt on that Friday was probably one of the lowest points for me as a coach in my career because I know exactly when that game was changed. And I know exactly why it was changed, and it's extremely frustrating. But I would say the last 2 games of our Frankfurt series were really, really difficult. And one thing I'll say, because and this is not a criticism of the refereeing or the league, but I think everyone who followed basketball, particularly Pro A and BBL, the real true fans that know what's going on, I think they understood that the Pro A championship was actually the semifinal between Frankfurt and us. And I'm not taking anything away from Karlsruhe. Congratulations to them. I don't mean it in a negative form, nor anything away from Hagen. But the basketball world knew that, that championship, what was on the line, and that series was really, really important. And I look back at that, and we had 15 officials over 5 games. In a 7-day span, we played 5 games with 15 different officials and 5 different commissioners. And it was a hard-fought game. There was a lot of stuff that took place in that game. And basically, that game was life-changing. That series was life-changing. It was life-changing for the people in Frankfurt, and it was life-changing for us as well. And I understand why the league, did what they did. They want to give experience to the officials and things like that. And that's a good thing. But I really wish they would have taken a closer look at what was at stake. And I think both Frankfurt coach and myself, Dennis and myself, would have preferred to maybe play with a smaller group of referees, maybe, 6 to 9, where we understood how the game was going to be called, instead of every game being called differently by different sets of referees. It's just my opinion. It's nothing negative. It's things I can't control. But those are the two worst games of the year for me.
Okay, so I think this is like a good finish of the last season, and now we're gonna take a look at the new upcoming season. So we're at the end of the preseason. So we had our last preseason game at Saturday in Hagen, and we won our 5th of 6 preseason games this summer. So you joined the team on every practice, on every game. How are your thoughts on the preseason and also the focus in this summer?
Well, I mean, honestly, Jacques did a great job, as my co-coach last year, and I am extremely comfortable, passing the torch to him. And he worked extremely hard this summer. Somehow we added a young staff of 2 good young coaches. So our coaching staff with Reggie has really done an outstanding job in preparing the team for the coming season. So physically, mentally, basketball-wise, I think we're at a very high level. Probably the best thing about the preseason was that it wasn't all new. Okay, we had a core group of players returning. They knew each other. They knew how to play. They knew what we did last year to be successful, and they carried that over. Jacques will run an offense similar to what we did last year. He's added a few different things defensively, and we'll carry over what we left last season with as a team. Our culture is great. Our team culture is probably as high as it was last year, which was extremely great. So I'm very positive about it. The preseason, the games we played in the preseason, our opponents were clearly better than they were last year, and we prevailed in the majority of those games. Our first game against Bonn was great for us because I think Bonn's going to be a challenging BBL team, a playoff level BBL team. So I think the preseason has gone really well. I think we're in great shape. We're physically healthy. We have no major injuries, and we're looking forward to that for that cup game this Friday. I just think it's a great thing.
Like you already say, so we started the season on Friday with the cup game against Frankfurt. So I think you have a lot of really nice memories with the German Basketball Cup. But now you're also here with the team when we're coming back with the BBL Cup on Friday. So what are your thoughts on this game?
Two things, okay? When I was coaching in Japan for the 13 years I was away from Germany, I was kind of disappointed that the cup was not open. They closed the cup and left it to, I think, just BBL teams, and then you had to qualify in certain ways. And back in the day when we qualified and won the cups, and we played second league and third league teams, and it was just it was great. And any team had a chance to get to that Final Four, which was the goal. So bravo to the BBL for changing the rules of the cup and allowing at least second league teams to get involved. I think it's a good thing for German basketball, and obviously a good thing for the second league teams. So that's the first thing. There's nothing like the cup. I've been fortunate. We played in cup championships in Belgium. We won the cup in Holland. We won the cup in Japan, and it's just a different kind of atmosphere. It's a championship. It's a single elimination championship, and it's unbelievably enjoyable for the crowd, which is why for those of you who have not got your ticket yet, you're going to be really surprised at the energy level, okay, the competition level, how hard the players will play on that night because it's a single elimination. So I think it's a great thing. We're not in the Final Four yet, so I can't relate to that. But I like our chances on Friday. I think our team is really well prepared. And the one thing about the Cup that you end up saying is like anything can happen. Mm-hmm. And we're hoping for a positive result. And we're looking forward to having our fans back. The fact that it's the opening game of the season for the BBL and Pro A. It's the opening game for the season in our home arena, which is one of the best home arenas in basketball. And I just think it's a great start for the city of Trier, for us as a team, for us as an organization, and for the basketball world to see what Trier basketball is like.
Thank you very much. So, das war's dann auch schon mit unserem Interview heute hier am Ende der Preseason, kurz vor unserem Pokalspiel. Wie schon gesagt, es gibt noch Tickets für das Spiel am Freitag, wie Don auch gesagt hat. Sichert euch eure Tickets, ihr werdet es definitiv nicht bereuen. Wir freuen uns auf ein wirklich hochklassiges Spiel und eine mögliche Revanche gegen Frankfurt hier am Freitag und freuen uns natürlich, euch alle hier in der Arena wiederzusehen. Bis bald.